Hello, hello, and welcome in. Excited to play you our new theme tune because this is actually not Chi Time. It's grown from Chi Time into, I'm not even going to say the name of it yet, but I'm here with my gorgeous co-presenter, Leaha Mattinson-Ray. I'm going to call you that.
Leaha Mattinson-Ray. Look at me taking on a whole new persona and this whole new initiative. So excited to be here with you today. Clara, we should tell everyone what's up. What's up?
Yeah, what's up, people? What are we? Well, you know, we've following a couple of stints on one another's shows and really kind of noticing that the conversations we were having were just kind of blowing a lot of confusing BS out of the water and finding out that we can cross-reference and research and to empower ourselves more and more. We thought, let's do a show together. And you were like, what was your response to that then, Leaha?
Well, absolutely, we should. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Why not? Why in the world not? Because really this show was burst on the premise to reveal this light within each one of us and to unlock the wellness, which we talk about on each of our individual shows, but the synergy of bringing it together has been mind-blowing for both of us. So we wanted to bring that forth to you, our listening audience. You know, when there's so much around us that really is contradictory.
I know. So we were kind of, yeah, you're right. Your amazing show, Master Your Life, and my Chi Time. We couldn't really run with those names anymore, could we? And we just kept going. We were working. Anybody that's seen or heard the last couple of shows where we've been on each other's live, because this is the third live we've actually done. You know, we've been talking about the elemental truths and what's important and what are the elemental truths within you. And so we were thinking of a new name for the show,
some kind of delicious thing that everyone would really benefit from, but that would not be the same as our already standing gorgeous shows.
but also something that tells it like it is. So it's very clear that this is what we're doing here, because there's some very important topics that would do well to get more airtime.
Yes.
And so
high time to access our pure truth and activate on it as a strength for when so much around us is just not playing into that. So what is it, Clara, that we're doing? What is it we're up to?
Well, we are calling this show the New True Show. Yay!
Round those of you who are not watching, just listening, you can clap now, insert clap now, hand waving.
This is what it is. You know, we've got the new earth going on. We've got the new normal. We've got the new wave. Oh, no, that was back then. But let's do the new true. And then we were looking at it because we often talk in acronyms anyway, like, you know, Chi Time and MLF and all of that. And we realized that the new true, what's the acronym for that then, Leaha?
What? TNT?
Oh, dynamite!
It's dynamite. TNT. Oh, we better not break into that song because we're not actually putting up a fight. We're doing something completely different here.
Well, yeah, but we are aiming to blast the carapace off the deceit, the lies, and the corruption that's so rife in our current culture, and it causes so much confusion, disorientation, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual pain, disease, and disorder. So it really is time to sort of ignite the light within you and to trust that, and that the light comes through the cracks. You know, when you let off this sort of covering, this carapace, indeed, when it cracks open, the light can shine through, and all of you have got that light within you, because we are all made up of, there are photons within our cells as well, so we all potentially have far more light to share.
Yes, far more light to share. It's such an exciting time. In this time right now is like no other, really, to tap into that for yourself, you know. And part of the thing that's happening right now is that old beliefs from the past are not set in stone, and they're being blown away. And the people who are trying to hang on to the old beliefs are really experiencing an enormous amount of pain. So the show really is about really blowing off those old beliefs, old ideas, because you know what? They do change. We're not set in stone, but we need to get some, you know, information and experience in order to expand on those beliefs. And how cool is that we can change those things? How cool is that?
It's good, isn't it? Because this is coming back to self-empowerment again.
Mm-hmm.
This is what this is all about. But our TNT conversations are inspired from our own energy-based professions and our midlife adventures, plus the interviews that we have with the leading global change makers from Chi Time and Master Your Life. Because they've been bringing a wealth of intelligent ideas to contemplate and also research to help us grow our awareness. So each and every one of us can make up our own minds and not necessarily follow other people's opinions, but find your own. Find your own internal compass. Find that which rings true for your light.
Yes, absolutely. And so the ultimate goal here really is that people learn how to trust themselves and come back to home based, and to really learn how to respond to life honestly, to any situation, and activating that internal truth compass. So are you feeling the call to clarity and sovereignty no matter what?
Are you tired of being swung off center by mental mind games delivered by the powers that be?
Oh God, yes.
Exactly.
It's time to build courage and to act on your truth, time and again. No more excuses, no more, checking out. This is your opportunity to really step into your own brilliance, your own centeredness. And we're here to assist. We're here to assist you on that rollout and into this receptive hearts and lives that you have for the greater good of all the people around you and the universe at large and humanity. This is the time of great change is right now.
It is, and I think everyone knows this, and it's so confusing out there, isn't it? It is really. There's so much contradictory evidence, and we're piling on. We think we need to know more. We got to learn from there. We got to cross-reference from there. But you know what? I think we can get too full up. I think we can just get too engorged with so much stuff, and it makes us overwhelmed. How many of you are feeling overwhelmed right now?
Yeah,
really. So. So the reason the New True show exists is because of people like you listening and supporting us and others in their communal endeavors to locate truth.
yes.
So we'd be super grateful if you could share these links with friends who might enjoy our shows, because so many people are being shut down right now. The evidence is being suppressed, and yet it's your right to decide what you think. So our dedication to freedom of speech is critical at this time, and we're hugely grateful to UK Health Radio for being an uncensored platform. Right. Really, really important.
Yes.
And we're so blessed to be part of this platform, aren't we, Leah?
We are, and we've been a part of it for a long time now. And so again, we're just feeling so incredibly happy that we're able to bring this truth forward in the New Truth show. And so we're blessed to be part of the platform. How you can support us, we've set up a club. Because people go,
this is another.
How do we help? How do we keep you on? Because so many people are actually being censored. Big name people are being completely deplatformed on Facebook, on YouTube. And so how do we keep bringing these people to you? It's that we have the courage to do it, but we need strong supporters behind us in order to continue to bring these breakthrough shows also. And so how you can help us to do that is we've got a wonderful, beautiful new site created on Patreon. And many of you who are of the contributing heart are very familiar with Patreon. For those of you who are not, it's really a hub for supporting people who are creative. So whether that's through podcasts or artists or painters, but creative people that need support in being able to keep their craft alive. And really what we're doing here, we've been given the blessing of having a mic each over the span of a number of years, bringing this kind of cutting edge health and wellness, internal integration, harmony. And we don't sell products per se because they don't necessarily fit in what we want to be putting out into the world, into the universe. And so it's an interesting crossroads for us to ask for support from people that love what we're putting out. And you can do that on our Patreon site. So you can find that by going to Patreon and looking up the New True show. And we will make sure that you can find that by going to either Master Your Life or to Chi Time, and we'll post the link there for you to find.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what we're hoping to share with you in that Patreon site is links, because we're going to be coming up. Hang on, I'm alongside Leah here. She always had loads of links and research topics for you to get into. So we thought if we had a place where they're actually going to be held, you won't have to scribble things down like when you're listening. You can do that if you want, but know that there's backup. And also, we want to open conversations. We want to know what you think. What have you got going on? This is an open forum for discussion. Anyone that listened to the last show that we did, we were talking about tolerance of different opinions and how important it is to debate things. And we'd like our Patreon page to be a debating site for different opinions, because we can all learn from one another.
Right.
We need to stay calm and be respectful of other people's thoughts.
Right. Yes. And Patreon's like a big playground. So when you come on, you'll see that we've got different tiers for people to become members, just to, just to support, and just because they have a heart to support, or they can come on because they want to do live Q&As with us once a month, or they can, come on at a different level because they want to get behind the scenes access to some of the shenanigans or some outtakes of things that we might have messed up on. Like, that's going to happen. It could happen. It could happen, right?
Oh yeah. Actually, why don't we offer this the live video of this to one of our Patreon tiers? The very first inaugural TNT.
Yes.
We'll
the inaugural. So you'll be able to come see the inaugural fun times behind the scenes at the New Truth Show by coming to Patreon. And again, we'll put that link on. But if you're interested in looking it up for yourself, and you do have a pen and paper handy, that is just www.patreon, that's patreon.com/The New True Show.
Yeah, exactly. And we have fun here. We know that it keeps your energy up and it keeps your vibration high, but we're going to be diving into a really serious topic here today. And because it is time. So we are going to initially have a bit of back to having a bit of fun. So talking about when you get too full up of everything, you get tension in your shoulders, get so much in your mind. And as a Qigong teacher, there's various techniques that we can use to help us defrag, basically. And so before we deliver quite a lot of information to you today and open up the topic, to begin with, let's do some shaking. What do you say, Leah? Should we do some shaking?
I say we should shake it off.
Yeah, because we are going into the safety of children, basically. So if you're interested in that topic, that's where we're going on this episode of The New True. So let's do some shaking.
Exactly. So you can do it in your chair. You can shake your hands. You can shake
Anywhere.
your shoulders. You can do it anywhere.
I actually like to stand up, so I'm going to do that. Anybody
Don't you
that's
knock over
standing up.
computer. Oh, hang on. Here we go. This is the behind the scenes stuff you're going to get when you come onto Patreon. You see, oh my gosh, what are they doing on video? Those crazy ladies.
I am shaking from my belly. I'm shaking from my belly. I'm shaking down into the ground.
That's right. I'd shake. I'm afraid my computer will fall over. But when you do this, folks, like shake, and actually you can inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth, and purge out anything that might be stuck. It's a good opportunity to reset your energy. And this, my dear friends, is the practice of little kids. So it's playful and it's fun, but it's very, very effective, and it's very natural to do it. So if other people are looking at you in your office, if you got your headphones on and you're listening to this and they're going, what in the world are you doing? Just tell them I'm reliving my childhood and I'm shaking off anything and preparing to take in some really good information to empower me in my life.
Thank you, Leah. So as we're shaking, we want to think about shaking down into the earth, because the earth transforms all our old energies. So the shaking is down, 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 like a energetic pneumatic drill. And so you can imagine it traveling down many, many, many miles beneath you. You want to sluice you all out, that old tension and fear and anxiety and overwhelm. an easy shake is something you can do. And if you're feeling like you've got, maybe you're even driving, no, don't shake when you drive, but you could just shake a hand. If you're shaking hands, shaking, it's a natural thing, as you were saying. And it's also the energy of shaking is, it creates a vibration in our bodies. So a vibration is going to help dislodge the tension that's deeper into the fascia and all of this, that, and the other. So I love a good shake. Do you love a good shake?
I do. I do it several times a day, actually. As soon as I get off my chair and go down the kitchen or go into another area in my house, I do a little, definitely shake it off. You can even raise your hands above your head and shake. Yeah.
Shake your body down to the ground. Oh,
shake your body down. And that staying grounded is really important, or being grounded and loosening everything up. Really awesome.
And then a cheeky to come into stopping. Just breathe it into your belly and let the movement slowly subside and come into stillness and place your mind on your beautiful belly and let all the kinetic energy from the shaking gather there. As you settle in and notice how you feel. Very nice. Very, very nice.
Very nice.
How are you feeling, Leah?
Oops. Feeling excellent. Like I knocked my computer over. See, if you get on Patreon, you're going to get to see that, guys. I shook my computer right over. Imagine that.
So we are settling. We're coming into the breath. You're noticing your body coming back to settling. Mm-hmm. It's a powerful place to be. You've emptied out and you're now clearer and ready to receive some new information. And boy, do we have some information to share with you here on The New True with myself, Clara Apollo, and Leah Mattinson Ray. Yay, that sounds good, doesn't it?
It does.
So,
sounds delish.
So how I thought we would start this emotive topic is actually to read something from an incredible elder in the UK. His name is Mac Macartney from embacoom.com, embacoom.org. And he is, he's very wise. He's on TED Talks, and he's been sharing natural earth wisdom. So he's interested in the old traditions of the UK, the indigenous cultures, that which makes sense to nature. It was going to make sense to your nature. And he has a book out right now called The Children's Fire. Yeah. And I just wanted to read a passage from that to set the context for this episode of The New True, and also to lead us into a beautiful track afterwards for us to just kind of settle with this information. So this is on page 9 of The Children's Fire by Mac Macartney. So the faith keeper of the Turtle Clan of the Onondaga Nation, Chief Oren Lyons, speaks of his people's prophecies. We were told that you could tell the extent of the degradation of the earth because there would be 2 very important systems to warn you. One would be the acceleration of the winds. We were told that the winds would accelerate and continue to accelerate. And when you see that acceleration of the winds growing, then you are in dangerous times. They said the other way to tell that the earth was in degradation was how people treated their children. They said it will be very important to note how people treat their children, and that will tell you how the earth is degrading. So when you open up the newspapers today, they talk about exploitative sex and children. They talk about homeless children and how you can count homeless children by the millions. To us, this is a severe indication of the degradation that society does not care. So a society that does not care is a society lost to itself, an insane society. It would be as if when one of our chiefs radiated away from when our chiefs radiate away from the council circle where they gather, 1 or 2 of them became distracted and never returned. So the integrity of the circle is now compromised, and other chiefs forget their pledge, and in time the whole council dissolves. Alone and in the wild land of our imagining, a small fire burns untended. Only the bent, compressed grass attests to the memory of the chiefs who once knew their responsibilities and accepted the challenge of eldership. In the distance, we can see the stooped backs of the council chiefs wandering homeward on paths that have no purpose, sheep tracks that fade and merge. And without prayerful attention, the fire becomes vague and unfocused. It loses power, and soon the last flame gives itself back to the sun. Now just smoke, now dust, now a bare patch upon the ground, now nothing, only a memory that, born on the wind, seeks to access the dreams of a sleeping beauty awaking her prince's kiss. The children's fire is, of course, not only a pledge to the love and welfare of the young, it is a paean to life and the promise of a continuing future. It is an assertion of confidence and affirmation. It declares a people's fitness to take a seat at the table and, along with other life forms, sings the anthem of belonging. When the children's fire is neglected, we are asked two questions. Is our story complete? And is it time to go now? If we answer not yet, then the second question is, what is required of us that we may find our way to a renewal? Taking a deep breath, everybody. Powerful, powerful. From Mac Macartney's book, The Children's Fire. Salient words of wisdom there. So as we just settle with all that, or settle with it, I don't think settle is quite the word, but as we take on that immensity, I'd like to play a track for you called Breathe. And this is by Asgeir. And I'll tell you why we've chosen this after it's been played. Wow. So that was Breathe by Asgeir. I don't even know how that's pronounced. It's Asgeir. And that track was found on the trailer for a film that Leah put me in touch with called The Sound of Freedom by Tim Ballard, who is a child protector and rescuer and dedicated to the hunting out of the child sex traffickers. So, this is a really big topic, Leah, and I thank you for sharing this information with me, because I kind of knew little bits and pieces, but I certainly didn't know about Operation Underground Railroad. I know that there's a lot more that we don't know about. So, and I know it's also a topic very, very dear to your heart. So where do you want to go with this, sweetheart?
It's a big one, that's for sure. And I think graciously you've agreed to, or we've decided to take up a little bit of the conversation about it, because it can be so horrific for people to really think about not only what's going on out there in all of these operations that are taking place with other people's children in other parts of the world, but to also thinking about what's going on in our own homeland, or our own homes, maybe even our own life, own life experience. And so we say the word sexual abuse so fast that it has lost its power, really, in a lot of ways. It's glossed over quite quickly what that means. So when we're talking about the and it's actually part of the intentional indoctrination away from the horror that this is. And so we soften it, we soften the words of it, we make it seem not so harsh. But when you're talking about adults is one pool of people, adult females is one pool of people, adult males is another pool of people. When you're talking about children, it's another pool of people. When you're talking about little children, it's another pool of people. And so people need to start actually recognizing, and this is part of our healing, though I want to say that right out of the chute, the recognition and the acknowledgement of this is part of the healing. So people go, oh God, don't go down that dark path, and don't talk about all the stuff that's going on in the media, and God, do we have to hear about Pizzagate one more time, that kind of thing. But those are real things, and so the mainstream media is not reporting on it hardly at all.
Well, that's it. Why is it not in the news? Let's talk stats. How big is this problem on the global scale?
Yeah, 8 million children go missing worldwide.
What?
850,000 kids go missing in the US every year, and that's the ones that are accounted for. That doesn't include
Million.
850,000, and in Canada it's about 80,000. The UK is right up in the same ballpark, and that's for the kids who are counted. So worldwide, 8 million is the number, and that can be verified through UNICEF. So this isn't some fictional number. These children are being used not just for sex trafficking, but for slavery. So when you have your nice set of Nikes that you bought for your kids, guess who's making them?
Exactly. But the other thing is the whole human trafficking is the biggie, isn't it? That is set to be reported apparently, but we're not supposed to be doing it too much because people will get shocked. Well, come on. Wouldn't you rather know? And then we can do something about it, particularly as it is said to be the second highest illegal business, second only to the drug trade. So the weapons trade is below the human trafficking trade. It's like, what?
Right. It's stunning, isn't it?
It's like really stunning.
Yeah, absolutely. And so people will go, well, I don't know anybody that's been human trafficked or has been even sexually abused. People will go, I don't know anyone that's happened to, or I don't know anyone who's gone missing, that kind of thing. But when you actually listen to newscasts, you might not personally know, but you hear occasionally when people go missing or teenagers go missing, or the population of people that doesn't get reported is usually because they're homeless. They're vulnerable already. So they're not making the mainstream news. And so it is very underreported, number one. And then in terms of the actual sexual abuse, it's so indoctrinated that it's okay through various agencies, churches included, that it's normal generation after generation to have people be sexually abused by people in power and authority, and that it is a complete program. We're running on a program where we don't even recognize when our own children are being abused. We ourselves will sit at the table with our abusers for Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, and try to make like it's all okay because we've been told that.
So
you need to make it all okay.
There's some sexual abuse in families here.
Yes.
Yeah. That you don't talk about this stuff, and it's like, but these children are vulnerable. They look up to adults to be their guardians, and that happens throughout nature. That is a natural way of being, that the older ones take care of the young. They do not abuse them and misuse them and take them.
And if something is trying to get them, they protect them.
They do, exactly. So what has gone wrong here, and how can we help?
And I think the complete loss of morality is one.
It's shocking,
in leadership.
Isn't it? Yeah. In the leadership, exactly. What is going on there? Well, a lot of them are part of the problem, so it would appear.
So it would appear. And a lot of our own families, the leadership is the problem. And I'm sure in Aboriginal tribes in Canada, they would say that the leadership has been the problem because they've subjected their kids to, a lot of abuse, and because it's generational, and it's just another way that church and state has set up families to not be good leaders. The whole morality has been undermined by drugs, alcohol, and shame. Right? So we're trapped in this loop of shame in families, and whether you're a white family, a Black family, an Aboriginal family, I don't think anyone in the world hasn't been touched by this.
Yeah. So it's time for this to be spoken about, and it's time for the healing to begin here, or the healing to continue, because there are some wonderful people out there. I mean, like Tim Ballard, who is made this film now. It's called The Sound of Freedom. You can find it on YouTube. And he's also on Facebook, and he's going out there and he's finding some of the perpetrators. And I know that you've got Sasha Stone coming up on your Master Your Life show pretty soon. I know that's one of his real top number one, looking into the human trafficking.
Yes. And so that's, the one side of it. The other aspect that we all can pay more attention to as well really is the justice system is not a justice system. It's a legal system. So many of the people who are actually perpetrators of these offenses don't even get into court, or when they do, they're so under fined for it. There really is such little consequence worldwide to this behavior. And and Sacha will talk about it in his upcoming interview, but really it's the people who set up the system of law are the people who are pedophiles. So it's no wonder that there is no legal recourse. And personally, I've experienced this. So I know it to be true. It's not some fiction. But perpetrators are allowed to bring all sorts of interesting court cases against people who have identified them as predators. And so a convicted sex offender can bring a charge against somebody if they want to do anything legally to somebody who has blown the whistle on them, even if they've done time. So an offender can make their victim's life very, very miserable if they have access to cash. And it's a really horrible thing, because the law is it's just legal. So if you've got money to get in the system, you can mess anybody's life up. So a lot of these people are pathological. It's not just some simple that they have a proclivity, and a lack of impulse control. They have a proclivity to children and a lack of impulse control. They are predators, many of them.
And often they will have been predated. They would have been abused themselves as well, and it just continues the pattern. I think I read somewhere that some pedophiles are asking to be recognized like lesbian, gay, and transsexual and bisexual. It's like, what do we do? What do we do with this?
Yes. And so one of the places that people can go, and we'll put these links up after the show, is pedoempire.org. Pedoempire.org is a really great place to go for research and documented research that shows all of the many of the pedophile families and all the links to all of their shenanigans that they've been up to for the last 100 years. It's about a 1 million word document that has every country in the world pretty much covered at this point, and was written by a fellow who is a West Point graduate and who also ended up not wanting to go the military path. So he went and took his education in counseling and ended up working in the social services system in LA County, I believe, in the US, and just saw all this stuff going on and went, this is not right. And how do we actually take this back? So he just started recording all kinds of things that were going on systemically, and it grew and it grew and it grew. So it's like people have to understand the level and the depth of it, I think, really to be able to get traction somewhere along their own fight or awareness with this or path with this. And that's a really, really well researched document. So it's not a soundbite, and it's not somebody having a complete emotional response. It really is well researched, which I'm a fan of.
Yeah, absolutely. Research. But what about the kids that are currently being held? These rescue missions going out for them. They said the Operation Underground Railroad and other people that are doing their best to really save the children. I mean, really get them out of there. And then there's going to be all the rehab that they're going to need. And, shocking. But we do need to find a way to rescue them. So first of all, the society needs to recognize it is a problem. Yes. And that secondly, it's like, how do we address this problem with a society that is clearly pretty corrupt? we're happy. Well, this is what's going on at the moment, and it's one of the silver linings of the current situation is more and more truths are coming to the surface, because
And I think it starts at
time.
your kitchen table. It starts at your kitchen table with
Mm-hmm.
noticing anybody in your life that is struggling with their children being vulnerable or your own children being vulnerable. And have you left them to be vulnerable? Like just going back to the poem that you read or the story that you read at the beginning of the episode, it really is about how are you leading in your life? How are you at your leadership table? Is it time to come back and ask that second question? Do I need to step back in my own family? And for those of us who've been raised in, indoctrinated in religions where it's okay, and almost all of them, 100% of them, have made it okay to abuse kids along the way in one way, shape, or form. So looking at what's your own indoctrination, how is that actually making your children vulnerable or your grandchildren vulnerable, and stepping back and going, okay, how do I rectify that within me? Because that's the only way you can lead anybody else out of that. And we're always learning. So part of it is not getting caught in shame either, which people who come to our, work, whether it's through Qigong or it's through counseling or coaching, they'll say, I'm not sure how to get out of the trap of shame. What we started the program with shaking is a really good way just to move whatever it is through your body and realize we get caught in that left brain. I've got to think my way through everything. I got to figure it out. And it's not a left brain activity. It's a right brain activity. It's God. It's God leading you to rectify and heal these things. You cannot sort out a ball and a knot of this level of moral abyss by thinking, which is probably what you were doing to create it. It's cognitive dissonance, right?
Oh, I wondered when that was. Those words are getting used a lot now. Cognitive dissonance. So this is not computing what is really going on. It's just being not knowing how to take on the information that's coming in, or just going numb. There's a lot of numbness around, and there's a lot of I don't know what to believe anymore. Hence why we suggest do your research and find out for yourselves, empower yourselves, and care for the ones that you can care for. Care for your loved ones, care for the kids that maybe don't have people taking care of them. Just all the, I'm concerned about children in foster homes. I just wonder what's going on there, Leah.
Yeah, there's a huge number of them that are absolutely fed systemically year by year to predators. And so that again is shown through that PETA.org. You can, PeterEmpire.org, you can check out the stats on that specifically for each country because it's very well laid out. But it's a system where kids who are vulnerable are brought in, and some of them it's with the good intention of helping them to have a better life, but a lot of them end up just being picked up by somebody that can use and abuse them because they have a need. They either have a need for love or a need for money, or both. So this comes back to what we can do when you see somebody who's financially vulnerable. Sorry, go ahead, Clara.
Yeah, we know there's lots of foster carers out there that are superb people that really take care of the kids. We're not talking about all foster homes at all, but we are aware that some of them are being utilized to harvest the children, and that some kids are just born straight into this slavery trade and not even given birth certificates, which is shocking as well. So it's pretty unbelievable when we out it, but these are the sort of topics that we want to talk about here on the new True Show with myself, Clara Apollo, and Leah Mattinson-Ray. So thank you so much for sharing this vulnerable sort of topic. And I know that as a counselor yourself, that you have experienced this, and so it's coming from, you're not just reading about it, it to be true, sadly.
Yes. Yeah. And I also take hope that we can do something about it, because knowledge is power if we activate on it. And
well, that's it. We are the antidote. We have to be. When we get this knowledge, if we don't do anything about it, then we're still part of the problem. It's like, so what can we do about it becomes the question. As you say, go over to a place like, what did you call it?
PeterEmpire.org.
That's the one. Yeah.
And hug your children like they matter to you. Hug your grandchildren like they're the life and breath of you, because once you actually do the connection properly with your children, you are moved to revere their life. And reverence is where we actually get the power to do anything, is by pure, unadulterated, uncorruptible reverence for that little being. And then nothing can get in your way. But when you're just detached from it, why would you? So take a chance to grab your grandchildren, look them in the eye, hug them, hold them, love them, feel yourself filled with their divinity, and think about what you would do to protect them.
Yes, it activates that natural protection that us caring adults have got, and we need to stay in touch with that. I'm even going to hug my nearly 31-year-old son, you know, it's like,
and let him try to run.
Yeah. And he's the guy, but also it's that knowing how to protect yourself as well, you know, being sensible, and maybe doing a martial art. I think all kids should do martial arts, but that's just my opinion. So thank you so much for sharing that truth from your heart, Leah. And anybody that has been touched by this, please do get in touch with us on our Patreon site, which is The New True Show. We'd love to continue this conversation with you, or on Chi Time or Master Your Life, or anyway you can get hold of us. These are Facebook pages. So I'm still a bit it moves us, this topic, doesn't it? It's really deep. It's so unreal that it's occurring. It's like, how is this even possible that this has occurred? It's like, well, now we know that it is. The more people that know about it, talk to your friends, talk you know, when the kids come up with difficult things, let them speak about it, so they're not shamed, and then try and get to the root of how you can help. And choice is the key, you know, that working with the energy of your heart, that truth, that protection, that love, that truth of nature, as we were saying, you know, nature knows how to look after its children, and so do we.
Yes. And it's the really insidious little things that you don't necessarily pick up on, but I'm thinking the lyrics in songs that we let our kids listen to when they're little is very interesting. The beat, the music, and really the lyrics do, whether or not you think they hear the lyrics, they hear them. And so how, you know, minding your mind and developing that pure spirit, and letting the spirit be pure, like instead of tainting it or turning, you know, allowing them to have parasites on them, parasitic sort of attack.
As we were talking about the content of the show, you were telling me about a story about Sonic the Hedgehog and his duffel bag. Was that right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Sonic.
What was that about?
I rented Sonic for the grandkids a few weeks ago, and we were watching, and there's a scene in there where there's human trafficking happening. And the scene really was that they had Sonic in a duffel bag, the adults, outside of the elevators. And Sonic is kind of, you know, fussing around in the duffel bag. And these two observers say to the parents, or the adults in the show, "Is that a child in there?" And they go, "Yeah." But I'm a cop, so it's okay. And then there's a little area open in the duffel bag, and they zip it closed. And he says, "You don't mind it in there, though, do you?" And he goes, "Zip." The wife zipped it up. She goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Yes, I do." And they went up, and the adults didn't do anything to intervene, and they went up the elevator without any intervention. So they make it look cutesy poo, and it's implanted all the time that this stuff is normal. It's not normal for adults to see other adults with a child in a bag and just let it go. But they're trying to make it like us to be blind to it. But that is as obvious as it happens. We have friends that foster parent, and they were telling me that one of the kids freaked out in a mall, and the child was just losing her marbles and saying all kinds of things about what the dad was doing to her. Nothing sexual, but, "Oh, he's beating me," and blah, blah, blah. Nobody stopped them. Nobody stopped them. And there was plenty of adults, and nobody questioned what was going on. And it could have been because of who he is, where they were. But, you know, if a child is screaming that some adult is doing something, wouldn't you think that some adult in the general area would say, "Hey, what's going on over there?" but no courage, no intervention. It's like, just gloss it over, like everything's fine, and don't intervene. It's none of your business. Like, so those are all beliefs and ways that we've been trained to stay out of it. Just stay out of it. It's none of your business. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are talking to me like that I can't zip my kid up or beat them or abuse them? Who do you think you are?
Wow, in this dystopian society, is there hope? Yes, there is, because there's a lot of really good stuff going on as well. There's plenty of people that take care of their children and other children too. So we're just shining a light on the horrific side of things. That does need to be sorted out.
Yes. And know how important you are. If you're one of those people that is a light shiner on these little ones, no matter, and little ones, I say, because I picture, little kids, but it's all the way along. If you're somebody that is a shining light to all these people, really give yourself a pat on the back, really acknowledge how important it is. Really do what you can to stay in alignment and attunement and to stay awake and to be a voice for love and truth and trust and giving and nurturing and kindness and certainty in the world. Be in the standing position of that and be immovable. Be immovable. So whether you're a woman or a man, it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, or if you have zero education or $1 million in the bank or $0 in the bank, if you're that light of absolute certainty for people, be it, and be so grateful that you are given that power, because that's a superpower. Certainty is a superpower. Yeah. And if you've got it, we've all got access to it. It's just people are pinched off from it. And in an incredible time right now as it is more time than ever to put on your superness and it's there. The very beginning of all this was about getting rid and blowing off the carapace of disempowerment, the shell that's put over us by shame and by societal pressure and beliefs. You get that off of you, so we're all able to stand in certainty. Shake it off. Shake it off.
And it's what you stand for. And when you do stand for what you stand for, root it down into the earth and be connected up to the stars. So you've got the cosmos and the earth supporting you in your stance, and then find others to be alongside you. So your strength in numbers. Wow, thank you so much. And if you would like to go over to our Patreon site, it's the New True Show. We would love to continue this conversation with you. And we're going to be live again on the 28th of August. Not sure quite what the topic's going to be there yet. But who have you got coming up next on your Master Your Life show, Leah?
Oh my gosh, so much fun stuff going on over at Master Your Life. I have Sacha Stone, and Sacha is the founder of Humanitad, the International Tribunal for Natural Justice, and the New Earth Project. So Sacha is a steadfast warrior of all things awesome, and is just a spark of absolute just inspiration. So I would love everyone to tune into that live on my YouTube channel. You can find me again through my social media links. The other one that's really cool that's coming up too is David Icke. Yay, David Icke is coming up on August 27th. We'll be live streaming him again on the YouTube channel, and then of course playing on UK Health Radio. David has been deplatformed from YouTube, Facebook. And we're again just so blessed to be here on UK Health Radio, where we can bring uncensored to you the new truth and the real truth of what's going on. So to help you to really get across the Rubicon and to not just acquiesce in David's words, to not acquiesce to this overlord that seems to be trying to usurp us from our sovereignty. So blessed to be having those two gentlemen, and can't wait to see what else is coming through. How about you, Clara? What's going on your shows?
Okay, thank you. That sounds so exciting. And I think Sasha's going to come into Chi Time on the 2nd of September as well. So we'll be able to follow up with whatever you don't talk about. We will talk about then, because he's been on Chi Time before, and you can go over to Chi Time TV and see that interview there. Yes. But no, I have Niraj Naik from Soma Breath, the renegade pharmacist, is in. He's on next week's show. He's actually there on the Chi Time Live. We did it this morning, actually, talking about the biochemistry of the breath and how working with this really does bring you back into self-empowerment. So again, this is a way to strengthen yourself up from within and get that tenacity that you need to make a stand for what is true for you. So we have got a track to play out with. And this is really beautiful. This is by Lauren Daigle. In fact, there's a new version of it on YouTube that is for the Operation Underground Railroad, and it is called Rescue. And I just think it's so stunning. There are a lot of people now coming out, raising awareness to help end human trafficking. So enjoy this. Thank you so much, Leah, for sharing all that you do. Love you loads, sister, and can't wait till the next time.